Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a character review for you. It's going to be the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. As everyone knows, Alice is going to be the next legendary in the game, so she's going to probably tear up the meta. I finally hope she will displace Snow White and this horrible princess team that we had to endure for the last couple of months. I can't wait for her, so hopefully she's good. Not ridiculously good though. In any case, I wanted to do a character review today because I think this guy in front of you is super interesting. I think he's got an awesome kit and I wanted to go over it and show you some footage at the same time. Yeah, so let's get into it. So if we look at some base stats, I've got DSA Fan loaded up here. If you don't know, DSA Fan is where you can go and just look up characters, at the max base level. This is going to be a Gear 9 White Rabbit, so you can see his offense, defense, health, all this kind of stuff. None of this really stands out to me. The one stat that does though is his speed. He's going to be 152 speed, which makes him 1 speed faster than Zeus. That means he's going to be the fastest mythical character, which is awesome. His kit also really works well if he goes first, so very exciting. I will say this though, it doesn't make him any quicker than Princess. He's still going to be slower, so if you plan on running a full mythical team to counter princesses, it's not going to work. Right, so if we start with the White Rabbit basic, deal 3000 damage to target opponent, 30% chance to reduce the target speed meter by 15%, and if the character has haste, which he's going to give himself haste on his passive, then the chance to remove speed meter is guaranteed and this character gains the same amount. So that's a fantastic ability. This is going to make him very, very good in raids. Spoiler, he is fantastic in raids, but the ability to reduce turn meter is always massive. It's going to make him very good in the Forbidden Depths raid, and in general it's going to make him pretty good in the Siege of Olympus as well. Also, because he's the fastest character, the ability to take multiple turns and quickly means this basic attack might come in handy if you really want to reduce speed meter on an enemy in PvP, for example. So very, very good basic ability there. Right, then moving on to his first special. Perform the following on self and adjacent teammates. If this character has haste, grant 15% speed meter, restore 7% of their max health, grant or extend haste for 1 turn, up to a max of 3, and 1 counter attack. Then call adjacent teammates to assist on random opponents. So this is a really good ability, guys. One, it's going to give haste to teammates, which is one of the best buffs in the game. It's going to give counter attack, which is pretty huge. If you plant someone like Hercules in front of him, you're going to give Hercules counter attacks. You can put Snow White in front of him as well if you want to pair up Snow White. It's going to get her birds out very, very quickly. If you run in a soup team, the White Rabbit is actually faster than Snow White as well. Her base speed is 150 at Gear 9. He's going to call that assist, so it's going to get her birds out straight away. And then obviously she's going to get that counter attack as well. For raid purposes, I also think this would work really, really well with someone like Sully or someone like Hades. You can pop White Rabbit into a mythical team against the Rock Titan and give Hades an extra counter attack, which means when the Rock gets empowered, he's going to do his Rock Bash and Hades is going to counter like 4 or 5 times if you're lucky, and you can build those counter attacks on him. Someone like Sully as well, who stacks double offense, means that that big punch can do even more damage. So this is a fantastic ability. It also works extremely well in PvP. There's just going to be so much counter attacking, and White Rabbit can actually make a legendary soup team beat Snow White princesses a little bit easier as well. So really big fan of this ability. I will say this, you want to at least have it at level 2. Level 4 would be the ideal, but you've got to use your runes sparingly. Next up we have his second special, and this is going to be fantastic in raids. So inflict or extend slow and 2 random harmful effects for 1 turn up to a max of 3 turns on the target and 2 random opponents. If this character has haste, the ability affects 2 additional random opponents. Then if you've got Queen of Hearts as a teammate, she's going to use Always on My Ways, regardless of magnet charge, with 15% bonus offense. So yeah, I don't know if this ability is bugged or not, but you really can lay down the debuffs. I've got some footage here of 2 of my club mates' raid runs where this ability just lands, 11 debuffs. I'm not sure if it's bugged or if that's as intended. To me, it shouldn't be stacking as many harmfuls The way I read this is you inflict or extend slow, so that's 1 debuff, and 2 random harmful, so then you've got 3 for 1 turn, up to a max of 3 turns. Because it says up to a max of 3 turns, does that then mean you repeat the cycle here and you inflict another slow and then another 2 random debuffs? Giving potentially 9 debuffs. I'm really not sure why in one of the bits of footage he inflicts 11, but who's complaining? It's a potential bug that works in your favor. And one thing I will say as well is this random harmful effect is often fear in raids, which means that you can start going to town with someone like Sally, who's going to always land her continuous damage and then potentially double hit as well. So an important thing to note is that this doesn't really land fear on the rock. You're still going to need another character that lands fear on rock if you're going to run him on the rock titan, so you'll need to take in someone like Jack or Chunk so they can land the fear, and then you'll want to use this ability. But in any case, this is fantastic and exceptional in raids. So as I said, the White Rabbit is a fantastic raid character and one you really want to farm for raids. And then if we look at his passive, his final ability, on turn start, steal 15% speed meter from the opponent with the highest speed meter and grant the same amount to all teammates with haste. If no other teammate has haste, this character gains haste for 1 turn, and this passive's got a 3 turn cooldown. When self or adjacent teammates take damage, you've got 20% to inflict slow on the attack for 2 turns. Right, so bit to unpack here. As I said, White Rabbit is going to be your fastest mythical, and he's going to be your fastest character in any soup team. So the fact he's going to steal speed meter from the opponent with the highest speed meter and then grant the same amount to all teammates with haste, that's fantastic. He's not going to grant speed meter to characters with haste unless of course they have haste, which means that the first time you use this passive, it's not going to grant your teammate speed meter. However, if no character has haste, this character is going to gain haste for 1 turn. So as I said when we were talking about his basic, he's always going to give himself haste at the start of battle because he's going to be the fastest character in your team, unless you're bizarrely running him in a non-mythical speed team. However, it means he's going to have haste unless you're fighting against a Maleficent lineup. But haste is one of the best buffs in the game, as I said. So this passive actually takes him up another level in my opinion. This passive is a little bit like Shank. He's going to steal that speed meter from the opponent with the highest speed meter. Shank does this as well. Shank also gives herself haste, so he's basically just a better version of her. And then this last bit I think is really good. When self or adjacent teammates take damage, 20% chance to inflict so you can constantly have the Titan slowed in raids, and also fighting in PvP, your enemy's going to get slowed a lot. It makes him a very useful character in all game modes in my opinion. You can see the magic cost is reduced at gear 9, obviously mine is gear 8. I will say that this ability will be on my radar when I take this guy to gear 9. And there we have it guys, that is my review of his kit. We haven't talked stones. Put a speed stone on him and then forget about him. You'll never want to take it off. He's going to be one of these characters that must have a speed stone. So give him one of your precious T3s. What do I think of White Rabbit overall? I think he's fantastic. I genuinely think he improves mythicals. I also think he can improve legendary soup. He can actually help your legendary soup counter against Snow White princesses. I think he's top tier raid character. He basically is a better Shank, but also does quite a lot more with his kit in general. The fact he can land fear is one of his harmfuls, and he does land it quite often, guys. Probably around about sort of 70 to 80% of the time you use that, he's going to land it. So it means you don't have to restart that much when you're doing your raid runs. I think this guy is, in my opinion, A tier. I don't think he's quite S tier. Might be S tier if you're just looking at raids specifically. It's without question I'm going to take him up to gear 9. What I will say is that at gear 8 he is much slower than what he is at gear 9. It's quite a bit of a speed gear hog, but unfortunately he's not going to be nearly as effective at gear 8 than he is at gear 9. So something to watch out for. Overall, very impressed with this character. He gets my seal of approval, and genuinely think you should go out and farm him now. You should be farming for the Alice Legendary. They recently made legendaries easier. I think Snow White was probably the easiest legendary you had to farm for. It seems that we're getting more time to farm for them. Fingers crossed that the event is similar style to the last one. But yeah, Tier list is dropping very soon, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.